That's great.
Okay, Derbyeites. We just saw the Critics' Choice Awards on Sunday. A lot of shockers, but I'm here with Ralph and Charlie. Charlie, you actually got 68% correct. How did you do it? Let's talk about some of these categories that you got right that everyone else got wrong. What do you want to start with?
Well, it all depends on, I had the right virgin sacrifice that I offered up to the awards gods, and and thank God that Drifter has not died in vain. But in all seriousness, a lot of them I thought were pretty educated guesses. Some of them I was thinking of changing at the last minute. I was thinking of changing Jonathan Banks out for Walton Goggins, but I really just thought, even though, specifically with a choice like Jonathan Banks, even though they're not doing it by episodes like how the Emmys usually do it, you usually can. There was that standout episode, and that's what all the reviewers and the critics were talking about with that episode. They were like, "Oh my God," with that. And even though they weren't judging by episode, that was enough to stick in their brain, and so that helped. And I think that's definitely what helped put Jonathan Banks over the top. With other things like The Americans, which was kind of a consensus pick for some of us here, we just sort of had it there because it just sort of seemed right. I don't know why so many of you guys were picking. What was the one that we're picking Transparent for the comedy series trophy? When I just didn't see that taking comedy series. Silicon Valley was the one that always made sense to me. And even Ralph's pick, and I'm not trying to say that Ralph's crazy for saying this. Actually, Ralph's original pick of Jane the Virgin made a lot of sense to me because that's something that after the ceremony also shocked me, that Jane the Virgin got nothing because this was a show that had been propped up so much by the critics, and I really thought that they were going to own that. But it was, it's just what made sense to me in my picks, honestly, though, who could have seen Face Off coming for the reality competition program? That one was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and looking at some of your picks, you got Shark Tank correct. You got Sarah Paulson, Bill Murray, Frances McDormand, but you had David Oyelowo down in third. You were predicting Richard Jenkins there, so that's really the only big one, of the lower categories that you got wrong. So yeah. Wow.
I thought Jenkins would be one of those actors that they would like to that would get caught up in the sweep of Olive Kitteridge, which still won 3 and was the big winner that evening.
Hey, how did Taraji beat Viola?
Because you picked Viola.
Great answer.
Right. I think I had Taraji down in third. I thought for sure Kerry Russell, could actually pull this off. So I had Kerry Russell in second. But I did pick The Americans, and after The Americans won my Critics' Choice, I actually put it in my Emmy predictions. We're going to talk about the Emmys a little bit later, but I think that it's now or never for The Americans. And I think, Ralph, didn't you say that about the Critics' Choice? Like, it's put up or shut up time. You guys have nominated it 3 years in a row. You've never given it any awards. So this was the year that they finally had to put their money where their mouth is with The Americans.
Yeah, that's what. Well, actually, you're the one who said that, Marcus. I just agreed with you for the first time in a long time because it just seemed like the only one that made sense there. And we talked to John Salzberg as well, and he kind of almost hinted towards the same thing. Like he wasn't very surprised by it because he was kind of expecting it and hoping it would happen because they've just been on it and giving it all this like critic nomination love for the past few years, and so it just felt like with Breaking Bad out of the way and all these other big guns out of the way, it was about time. So it deserved one too. The season was actually maybe not its best, but it had a lot of awesome reveals in it, so it's great.
I don't know about. I mean, you guys are a bit more plugged in because you guys were there and you were talking to John Solberg and everything. I would be elated if the Americans were to actually get in this year beyond guest acting and the score nomination that they had their first year. But I don't know if I see it happening. I don't know if it will happen. I don't think I have that much confidence in happening that I would actually predict it to happen.
Right. Well, the good thing is there's 7 slots, and I feel like the 5 drama series that are up that were nominated last year, including Orange is the New Black, will all make it in. So that will leave two slots for maybe a new show or a returning show that has been snubbed. So I think The Americans has an okay shot. Certainly now a better shot this week than it did last week before it was a winner at Critics' Choice.
Yeah, I'll definitely give you that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Empire will take up that 6th slot. I don't think there's any question about that. In the 7th slot, what else is the choice, though? If it's not The Americans, you've got The Good Wife, potentially. Maybe...
The Affair, Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul, but neither of those have really done anything in the horse race. It's all been their actors, either at the Globes or
But that could put them over the edge. I mean, the fact that Better Call Saul won both its nominations, even though it was not nominated for drama series at Critics' Choice, I think that says a lot about. I think that could be a potential bit of foreshadowing, and that this could actually elevate it to that point.
Yeah. What about what's another category we should talk about? I know Ralph and I were.
I do want to say with comedy series, when the Critics' Choice one happened, when Bob Odenkirk opened that envelope and read the name Silicon Valley, I was actually folding my laundry at the time, and I was so happy when he said that mainly because I had predicted it, that I actually started waving the shirt I was wearing around like I'm some sort of Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I was going nuts. And one of my roommates walked in on me and they said, "What the hell are you doing?"
Silicon One's comedy. Comedy actor is Jeffrey Tambor. Comedy actress is Amy Schumer. And wow, I think that was a big shocker. I think a lot of us thought Gina Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And I think I actually called her the lock of the night.
Well, I think a lot of us had Amy Schumer in second place. Yeah. If we didn't have Gina, if we didn't have her in first place. I just think that we thought that, like I was saying earlier, that Jane the Virgin was the critics' darling and Gina Rodriguez was the breakout star of the year. And so I think there was just a lot of confidence that would translate to a win here.
Mm-hmm. Now at the Emmys, I have Amy Schumer predicted. I do not have Gina Rodriguez predicted. But, if I'm wrong, the episode submission, could be the key here. Because Gina Rodriguez, Ralph, do you think she would submit the pilot? I know you just talked to her. What is she thinking in terms of submissions if she gets an Emmy nom?
Well, she kind of talks about that in the interview that I did with her that will be posted in a few days. So I'll leave you guys hanging on that one until it comes out so you can watch it. But yeah, she now has an idea in mind of what to submit. But I think it's a great omen that you're not predicting her for a nomination because you were so confident about her at the Critics' Choice.
And as far as Amy Schumer winning, I mean, a person from a variety show, they've never won a category like this, right? Sarah Silverman didn't win. Fred Armisen. None of the SNL people have won in these categories, so she might have a tougher time actually winning. But
yeah, you never know with this thing. I mean, I think that the key for her is getting in. If she can get in, all bets are off on anything, right, at this point.
Right. T.J. Miller wins Best Comedy Supporting Actor.
And Best Speech of the Night.
Yes. Shoving his mouth full of food.
Oh, that was great.
Does this help his Emmy chances? Because last I checked, he wasn't in our top 6 overall, but does this help him?
It definitely doesn't hurt.
Right.
And I think it does help. His character this year hasn't had so much like a season-long arc, but I think they've refined what his character is more than just being just completely obnoxious, and that might make it a bit more palatable to certain people in the Academy that are voting.
Right. And then Allison Janney wins Supporting Actress. I think I said last year, and I just want to reiterate it now, that Allison Janney is going to win at the Emmys 3 years in a row. So this will be number 2. I'm not even going to consider any other person. She's that good. She's going to keep winning. She is one of the most famous names, certainly in that category, and she just has this, certain appeal about her that you just feel like she's almost better than the material that she's better than the show that she's on. But I absolutely love her. She's fantastic. I think she's going to win this year and next year. And
well, we'll put that on our prophecy wall and see what happens.
What else should we talk about here at Critics' Choice before we move on to the TCAs? Anything else you guys want to mention? Lorraine Toussaint wins. Jonathan Banks wins.
And Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah. Who won drama actress again? I'm just blanking on that one.
Taraji P. Henson.
Taraji, that's right. I don't know why I blanked on that one. How dare I?
I thought you were joking.
Yeah, I thought you were joking just to make Marcus say it again.
I literally just blanked on it, and I mean, come on, that had to be an obvious one. Although the category was very stacked, that was you should have known that, Marcus. You should have known that.
Well, you never know.
We're just gonna berate you. No.
This Bill Murray win, I don't really understand it. I mean, if the critics watched Olive Kitteridge, which they obviously did because they gave it 3 trophies, why would they say that he's the best supporting actor of the year? He was hardly in it, right, Charlie? He was in maybe 13, 15 minutes.
No, he's in a good amount of the final hour of it, and that definitely doesn't make him a lead, so that makes him supporting.
Mm-hmm.
It's where else are you going to put him?
Right. I don't know. I just feel like maybe there were other people in that category that made more of an impact, certainly on me, but I guess not on the voters.
Yeah, I mean, and Bill Murray is a critic's favorite, and he does. I think there's just people who just like Bill Murray, and they want to reward him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's move on. What are our thoughts on the TCAs, which were just announced a couple days ago? Let's just make our early predictions here. Let's start at the top. Program of the year. Ralph, what do you have?
Oh, program of the year. I have. I don't even. Oh, there it is. I have Empire as program of the year.
Yes.
I don't have my predictions actually made yet because I don't want to freeze up my computer, but I'm looking at a list of nominations, and I'm right there with you, Ralph. I think no other program has come that's nominated has come close to the buzz and just general conversation stirring that Empire has gotten this year.
Mm-hmm. And it's the most impactful show. It's the show that everyone was talking about. And looking at former winners of this category, there was Breaking Bad twice, there was Game of Thrones, Friday Night Lights, Glee, Battlestar Galactica, Mad Men, Heroes, Grey's Anatomy, American Idol. So this is like this show of the year that's just, it may not win like a best drama series, but that's really not what this is. This is, an award for the most impactful, the show that everyone was talking about. And I think that's Empire. There's no other option for me there.
Yeah, this has had the most impact on our culture this year.
Mm-hmm. And then best new program, what do you guys have there?
Ralph?
For best new program, I have Empire again.
Right.
I'm split between Jane the Virgin and Transparent. I think that either one of those could take that one. I'm not sure which one to put ahead, though.
I gotta say, I could make a case for 4 of the 5.
Yeah.
Sorry, The Flash, but it's really tough because you think if Empire wins best program, it would also win best new program, but that's not really how they work. They kind of they like the wealth here.
Yeah. Do we know how many critics actually vote on this? Do we know how many critics actually vote on this?
I don't know.
because it does seem like they're very strategic with how they bestow some of these honors.
Right. I remember one year, like, all of the top shows won, something like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Downton Abbey. They all found, their own little category to win. And they do that a lot. It's definitely a spread the wealth kind of organization.
Yeah, but I think when you have something, only reason I'm picking Empire, and like you said, Marcus, I think you can make a case for probably 4, if not all 5 of them nominated here. When you have something like Empire that was so tremendously impactful and changed so much of television and made network relevant again, having the second highest rated demographic of the year behind Walking Dead, which nobody was even able to threaten in the last few years. I don't think it's crazy to think that they would. I mean, if they don't give it program, that they could give it both. I mean, I think program of the year is kind of the same as a new program, and Empire's not old to the game. I don't see it. I don't think you can when you have a show that's just this big that it's not out of the realm of possibility that the critics would jump on it. And I mean, they nominated it in several categories. It's not like it's just 1 or 2.
The thing about that, though, is that it seems like with new program, they're gonna look for a different avenue. And I would say with the points that you brought up, that if this was being voted on by network people, by people that were actually from like networks, then I would say that would be a huge factor in this. But I don't think that's going to appeal that much with critics, specifically in the new program in the new outstanding new program of the year. I think you throw all of that in there, and that'll be a factor in Empire winning that. But I don't think that's going to be a factor for their voting because for the new program award.
It's interesting. Glee also won new program in 2010, so they're not afraid of giving best program and best new program to the same one.
How'd you like that, Ralph, to have Empire be on the same ground as Glee?
Hey, at least it would make the award relevant again.
So I think what you guys have said has convinced me that Empire is going to win both of these. As far as best drama, though, that's where I think they may go somewhere else.
I do not see them actually giving Empire 3 for all those program awards.
Right, that would be overkill. But the question is, what would it be? The Americans, Game of Thrones, Justified, Mad Men?
I could see Mad Men winning.
Yeah.
Since it's the final season, that's a sentimental thing. The finale went over really, really well. I could see. I would predict it there.
And John Hamm got back in for individual achievement as well. Yeah, I feel like Mad Men is a safe bet. My personal favorite, of course, is Game of Thrones, but my favorites never win, so that's why I have to go with something else here.
Yeah, I think Mad Men is pretty safe as well, or not safe, but I mean it is a safe bet for us to go on. But I agree. I think Game of Thrones is having a phenomenal season, and if they were just voting not just on like buzz or season or something if this was just strictly on merit, I don't think any of those shows could touch what Game of Thrones is doing right now.
Mm-hmm. And Game of Thrones won this in 2013. Last year it actually went to The Good Wife, and The Good Wife is snubbed this year.
I think the Americans is also in this as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it just won Critics' Choice, and this is the Television Critics Association. So I know there's probably some variation of, but, the Americans has always been the critics' show, as the producer said at the Critics' Choice Awards, because God knows viewers haven't been helping it. Not enough viewers have been helping it to stay on the air.
Man, what a tough category.
Yeah.
So for comedy series, it's really interesting because we have Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt nominated here, but it's not one of the best new programs of the year. I'm not sure how that works. Also,
You're right about that.
Jane the Virgin, Inside Amy Schumer, and Big Bang Theory.
First of all, shut up, Ralph. And we kid each other. But I could see Transparent possibly taking this, even regardless of whether or not it's you would define it as a comedy. I could see it winning this. Has any other Marcus? You have the list up there. Has any other program that's been kind of one of those that kind of rides the line between comedy and drama taken the comedy prize before?
Let me just read through the past couple winners. There was a tie last year. It was Louis and Veep. There was a tie the previous year. It was Big Bang Theory and Parks and Rec. And then before that it was Louis, Modern Family won twice, Big Bang Theory, 30 Rock, The Office, Arrested Development. So no, these are all comedies. There really hasn't been a dramedy that won. It looks like Glee never won this award, which is strange, because they won the other awards. So based on that, Transparent arguably is a dramedy. I don't know what you guys feel about that, but maybe this is where they give it to Jane the Virgin.
No, that's what I was thinking.
Ralph, did you make your pick here?
Yeah, well, it depends on what your pick is, because then I have to go opposite that. Because if you're picking Jane, I'm definitely not picking Jane. But I think unfortunately it's where they give Transparent. I mean, you just said, that they gave Veep a tie win last year, and Veep isn't. I mean, it's a comedy, but it's not like a slapstick. Like, it's not in the vein of the other comedies that you had listed before it. So I think they're a little more open, and I think in terms of impact, I don't think. Maybe because I don't think Jeffrey Tambor is going to take the award, I'm predicting Transparent to get something somewhere. So the one that has the most, I guess, kind of importance to it is probably the one that's going to win. So I have Transparent there, but I would love for Jane to take it, or anything else other than that, a comedy series to take that comedy award, but Transparent will probably take it.
So wait, you don't have Jeffrey Tambor winning. Who do you have winning for individual achievement?
I have Gina Rodriguez winning for individual achievement.
Surprising.
I know, a huge shock. Well, I think because the overlap between the Critics' Choice Awards that we just saw and the Television Critics Association is not huge. It's not the same massive group of voters that are doing the CCTA awards, and they're not as influenced by buzz. I mean, these were the ones that are actually like writing all of the print stuff and doing all of the reviews and watching all of these shows. So I think the person that they've pegged as their breakout star of last season, I know Tambor's given a kind of a transformative performance, and I think if it wasn't for him, his show would not be where it's at. But if you see that they put Constance Wu in there, they did they put Gina in there, and Amy Schumer. Julia Dreyfus is back, I guess, as a filler nominee. I think they've seen a lot of great female comedic performances this year, because there have been, and that they're gonna award that. So, and if they do, I think as much buzz as Schumer has right now, and she'll have her film out, and she'll have more, and she's great. She's done some tremendous things. I still think that since the voting crop is different, they're gonna go towards Gina on this one to give Jane something, because I don't think Jane is winning comedy series or new program.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus won this last year.
An interesting thing that we should bring up about this is Tom always likes to talk about how the apple in a bag of oranges, or vice versa. I don't know where he gets his produce from or how he selects it, but you have 4 women here. Then you have Jeffrey Tambor. Ironically, he's playing someone who is transitioning into becoming a woman. Jeffrey Tambor could be that apple in that bag of oranges.
Right. That's a really good point, actually. I just feel like his performance is the one that everyone has been talking about, for the whole year. Unless the SAG Awards are the ones that snubbed him.
Yep.
Yes.
But it's okay. They'll make up for it next year, like they always do. I just feel like we don't really know much about Gina Rodriguez. Is she playing a character, or is she playing herself? We don't know because she's so new and so fresh.
Well,
But
I
we know
don't think she's ever been artificially inseminated accidentally, so I think it's pretty safe to say that she's not playing a character.
And her
But
father is
because-
not a
because-
telenovela star.
Let's face it, that's happened to me so many times.
we know Jeffrey Tambor has taken on a new role. He's not playing himself. He's not playing any character remotely. From his IMDb page, which is probably like 100 things. This is a brand new role for him. This is a way we've never seen him before, and I think he's going to win. He's going to win the Emmy too. He's going to win everything. He's that good.
I'll believe it when I see it.
And what did we miss here? Did we miss individual achievement in drama?
Yeah.
Gosh, another Viola versus Taraji discussion is about to happen, and I'm just gonna pick John Hamm. I'm staying out of it. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. I don't know who to pick. It's a very tough one. I'm tempted to just go with Taraji again.
Right. For best movie, miniseries, or special, Ralph and I were just talking before we went live. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna pick The Jinx, and that was the documentary informational series on HBO that
About
got
Robert
really-
Durst.
Yeah, really well reviewed program, and it has the cachet of HBO. I know a lot of people are going to go with Olive Kitteridge here, and they're probably going to be right, but I think I'm going to jump out on this limb for The Jinx.
I'm going to go with Olive Kitteridge on this one. I think it's just probably because there's nowhere else to go for it. But The Jinx I would actually put in number 2 there.
Yeah, exactly what Charlie said. We were talking before, Marcus. I think you made a really good point on The Jinx. But I think you are The Jinx, so that's why I'm sticking with Kitteridge at number 1 and the number 2.
Oh, jeez.
But
What about reality series? That's Shark Tank, right? I know last year RuPaul's Drag Race won, but I think Shark Tank has it this year.
what the hell is The Chair?
Oh, it's like Project Greenlight.
Okay.
It's on
Yes.
Stars where 2 directors, a guy and a girl, they get the same script and their job is to direct their own movie based on the script. So it's really interesting.
It's really good. You should watch it.
Okay. There used to be another reality show called The Chair from years ago. You all are probably too young to remember it, you young stupid kids, but it was on Fox, and it was a trivia show, but they would put you in this big contraption, and it would like heat up, and they would have like electrical shocks going through you. It's basically Sunday in the Park in Texas essentially, but it was crazy, and I was wondering if they had brought that back.
That's funny. Okay, let's talk about the Emmys. This is what we've been, hinting at. We've been discussing it a little bit as we went through. But let's just talk about, comedy series first. There are 5 returning shows. I have those 5. I think we all have those 5 coming back, and that's Modern Family, Veep, Big Bang Theory, Silicon Valley, and Louie. And that opens the door for either 2 new shows or like a new show and a returning show that's been snubbed. What do you guys have in those other 2 slots?
Right now, I have it's real. I find that those are just really tough for me to predict. I just find it really tough. I think I have Jane the Virgin in there right now, and I also have oh god, I can't even remember what I have there. I'll have to check on that.
I have in the last 2 spots Transparent and Grace and Frankie. Even though I'm tempted to put in the comedian somewhere, the only reason I have Grace and Frankie is not because I'm a huge nut of the show or anything, but they've been campaigning pretty hard for it, and they sent out voters every episode, unlike most of the series so far that have only sent either one or two or just a handful of episodes. They sent out the whole series to voters, and they made it late enough in the game to where it would make an impact potentially on voting starting in a week, a little under a week now. I'm sorry, over a week. So I only have it in there for that, and it's got it's got 4, kind of mega Emmy folks in there. I don't know. Transparent. I didn't have in there at first, but I just have in there now because it's been nominated everywhere, and I've just gotten so beaten down that transparent that I'm just sticking it in there. But I really hope what Charlie says, happens and Jane gets in there, and maybe something else more deserving as well.
The other one I have in there is Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Right, and I also have Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and Transparent. Those last 2 spots have been really tough for me. I've had Grace and Frankie in there. I had the comedians in there. This is Parks and Rec's final year. That could get in. There's so many options. We really need 10 slots here, Emmys. We need more than 7. Blackish is another one people are predicting. Brooklyn Nine-Nine could get in.
No, that's not happening. That's not
Girls could get in.
Oh, God. Please no.
I have expected you to take out a rosary and start praying.
I mean, I could realistically see Grace and Frankie get 4 acting nominations, but still snubbed for series because it's such a tight race for series. It's crazy.
I don't know if I can see them getting 4 acting nominations and snubbed for series. I have a hard time seeing them getting 4 acting nominations, but I don't know. The reviews have been very mixed on it, and even though they've been campaigning hard for it, the reviews were much more mixed than you would normally want for this sort of thing. And that's why I have Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt in there as opposed to Grace and Frankie.
See, Marcus, and I'm totally opposite of you. I don't think we need 10 slots. I think we need less. I don't think there are many comedies this season that have come out that are, kind of worthy of filling it up. I mean, we're here trying to debate on shows that have not really had the best critical response of which ones are going to get in there. The comedians, or Grace and Frankie, or anything else that we've talked about. So I wouldn't mind just keeping it at 1. And Modern Family's probably going to win again. So why not just nominate that and save everybody else the heartache?
Well, no, let's just have 2 nominees. This way you have Modern Family, and whichever the other show is, it could just consolidate the anti-Modern Family vote, and there you have it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What if the other nominee was 2.5 Men?
Cool.
Marcus, you go into the corner and you think about what you've just said.
Another show we didn't mention is Mom. Mom could get in. It just got a Critics' Choice nomination, and You're the Worst could get in. I don't know. I think there are at least 10 worthy comedies this year, and I will stand behind that statement.
I back you up on that.
And then what about drama? It's the same thing. There are 5 returning shows, and then 2 potential open slots. The returning shows: Game of Thrones, Downton Abbey, House of Cards, Mad Men, Orange is the New Black is switching categories. And then the other slots. What do we think? Empire, The American, The Affair.
Seems like the buzz for The Affair has kind of burned out. Transparent, at least, it won it won those 2 Globes, and then it carried over. Even though it got snubbed at SAG, it carried over and it got nominated, at TCA and won 2 at Critics' Choice. The Affair, it hasn't translated. So I don't see that happening right now. I have Empire, and I also have what's the other one? The Good Wife in there. Although I'm probably going to have to rethink The Good Wife on that one. I don't know if that's going to make it.
Yeah, if it couldn't make it in last year for their big, tentpole season, I don't think it'll get in this year. But
yeah, it's tall order.
Ralph, what did you have in those other 2 slots?
I have Empire and The Americans.
Oh yeah, we line up there 7 for 7. Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, The Americans, this is his 3rd season, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not unfounded for a series to break in during its 3rd season. Like, Everybody Loves Raymond didn't start getting its Emmy nominations until its 3rd season. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities for it to happen. And yeah, I mean, what else you put in there? The Leftovers, it has no buzz. The Affair has nothing going for it. The you know, what was the one that Charlie had just mentioned?
Good Wife.
The Good Wife. Yeah, I mean that's so hard to determine. I'm not sure if that can get back in.
Better Call Saul is one to also keep an eye out for.
I had it in there before, but I hear that they're just focusing their campaign on solidifying their actors nominations, and they are their actual series nominations. So I don't know if it's true, but I'm not really predicting it for a drama series nom. I mean, the critics didn't even nominate it.
Right. Yeah, but they did give it 2 big wins, so.
Yeah, and the actors.
There's a lot of actors in there, so I think it's one to keep it that it has that it not only is it on the radar, but I think it has a serious shot of actually making it in there.
You know, of the 5 reality shows, which one do you think is most vulnerable? What if they don't? Like, we're automatically assuming that all 5 are coming back. Same with comedy, but you know, if one misses out, what would it be? Downton Abbey just won the SAG award. Game of Thrones is hotter than ever. Mad Men has had its final season.
Could be House of Cards. It seems like the buzz for that season, for the 3rd season, just kind of, it came and went. So it would not surprise me too much to see House of Cards get left out, or as much as I do not want to see that happen, possibly Orange is the New Black. I do think that it's still, it still has a lot of buzz, but maybe there could be a mindset in there that with it being in the drama series category, they don't take it as seriously. It's a wild thought, and I'm not predicting that to happen, but I think there's certainly a possibility.
Right. Didn't you talk?
Where you jumped down my throat on that, Ralph?
Ralph, you talked to Cohen, right? And she said that they should have a half-hour category and an hour category. Isn't that what she said? Or
who said that?
Genji Cohen, creator of Orange is the New Black. She said there should be no classification. It should be best 1-hour program and best half-hour program, whether you're a comedy or a drama. You stick in there, and that's what you should go as. So it'd be like House of Cards versus Jane the Virgin. Really weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that would make a lot of people mad. That would. Yeah. I mean, 66 years the Emmys have been on, and to all of a sudden change it like that would make a lot of people mad.
Pissed.
Yeah,
I agree, and I don't think it would make much sense anyway to do that. But I don't think any of those ones would be shaky. I don't think House of Cards would be shaky, and I don't think Orange. I mean, Orange comes back on June 12th, and nomination voting starts on the 15th, so I think it's going to be pretty buzzed about and pretty fresh in voters' minds.
Well, what if the new season isn't received that well? I mean, a lot of people are going to be. I mean, that could affect it.
Yeah, early buzz on it though, or early word on it, critics' reviews on it have been pretty positive. About as positive as season 2. So I don't think it's out of it's going to be received too poorly. My only thought is that I did hear when I was at the thing is that or at the event is that Orange is the New Black is a little lighter this season, maybe a little more comedic in tone, which would be kind of weird because if people do laugh while they're doing it and then get a ballot that says you're now nominated for drama, it may raise some eyebrows.
Even though the season they'd be voting on is season 2, the admittedly more dramatic one.
Right. I mean, it's just like with what happened with Breaking Bad. I mean, it won that first 5.1 season based on what was airing already in 5.2, because that first season that it won for, I'm sorry, I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan, but it did not deserve to win for that season.
Yeah, it did.
No, it did not.
When you looked at its competitors, who should have won instead?
Game of Thrones, I would have picked. I didn't even know what season it was, Game of Thrones, but I would have picked
season 3.
Yeah, see, there you go. Red Wedding, I would have picked that.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about.
That was so boring.
You damn kids and your music, and I don't know. It's just.
Ralph, do you know, is the Orange is the New Black's Emmy campaign, is it focusing on the category switch? Because it really should be, because these Emmy voters a lot of them may not even know that it's changed categories. And so this campaign really needs to focus on the fact that, hey, if you want to nominate us, don't look in the comedy categories, look in the drama categories.
Yeah, at their FYC event, they were pretty adamant that making sure that folks knew that this was a drama. It wasn't a comedy anymore. They had the word drama all over their banners and everywhere else, outstanding drama series and everything. So they've been doing as much as they can to make them aware. Aside from hiring one of those airplanes that draws smoke in the air and spells out Orange is the New Black as a drama, which may be the next thing coming up. We never know.
Well, let's talk about winners, because we talked about nominations. What do you guys think will win Best Drama Series? I have Game of Thrones in there. I don't know if it's because I'm not there.
Do you have a coin that's 7 sides that I could flip?
But I mean, the last episode of Game of Thrones that aired on May 31st, like the official last day of the eligibility period, it was hands down the best episode for me they've ever done. I think Ralph and I were texting right afterwards. We're like, "Did you see that episode? It was amazing."
No, I was definitely when I was watching it with my roommate after I made him miss it while it was airing, so we watched it afterwards because I was watching Critics' Choice, and he's being very generous in letting me do that tomorrow night again with the Tony Awards. We were just going like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and of course he's like immediately texting all of our friends going, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we were, because I asked you, Marcus, because I told you before after they sent us those first 4 episodes in the mail that Game of Thrones this season looked like it was going to have a spectacular one, and then I was already predicting it for drama series, and I texted you and asked you, what do you think of the episode? And you said, I think it now. I'm 100% on board with it winning Best Drama after the episode, and it's just been so great this season. But I think what's going to help it, and that we haven't touched on yet, that maybe we should a little bit, especially because I want to get your thoughts on it, Charlie, is this new article that Tom sent out about some of the changes within Emmy voting. One that really stands out is the way that they're going to, instead of having the 6 episodes chosen per series and breaking them up into groups of 2 and having those DVDs sent out to voters, all of the episodes are going to be placed online, and voters are going to watch at their leisure. Not in groups of 2 or anything. They're just going to be all 6 for one show, and you watch all 6. And you move on to the next show and you watch all 6, which nobody's obviously going to do. But how do you think that? And then of course the expansion is bigger. Everybody votes on series and everybody votes on other categories. But how do you guys think that affects some of these shows? Like, do we think Modern Family with that type of stuff? Because Modern Family, a lot of it was won because it had 2 spectacular episodes on one group of DVDs that were sent out. And now you've got 6, and who knows which ones. Are they going to watch Connection Lost? Maybe they've already seen it and they don't want to watch it again. Are they going to watch something else that maybe wasn't too flattering? I mean, could this be something that kind of shakes up these major races, and where we see Modern Family lose to something that maybe had one great episode that voters watched for some reason?
I don't know. It's it's one of those things where there's so many layers in terms of what's been changing that I'm trying to keep up with everything and trying to keep track of it all. And honestly, it's something that I don't. It's going to be tough to like really gauge it until we actually see what happens with this year's winners.
Right, and I think, and this is going to be controversial, but they should get rid of the 6-episode, submission that they've always done. Now that it's online, what they need to do is have each nominated show give 1 episode. What's your best episode of the season? Put that up online. Have the voters watch that, because then they will. I feel like they would watch 1 episode per show. We're talking only about 6 episodes, as opposed to 42 episodes, which no one will watch. So we tell the Modern Family people, you have 1 episode to submit. What is it? Tell the Game of Thrones people, 1 episode. I think that would be a lot better, because the voters would actually watch it then.
I could see the merits of that. I'm not sure about the specifics, but I could definitely see the merits of it.
Yeah. Gold Derby, by the way, is predicting Mad Men will win. It has 9-2 odds. House of Cards is in 2nd place, and then Game of Thrones is in 3rd place. I don't know if that's because of Mad Men just finished a couple weeks ago, and people are still high on that finale.
Well, it does still. Mad Men has the track record of actually having won this category, so it has the prestige, it has the pedigree. It's just whether or not the voters are actually going to go down that route.
And then for comedy, Gold Derby is predicting Modern Family will win. That'll be number 6. And then Veep is in 2nd, and Transparent is in 3rd.
Silicon Valley should be higher.
Silicon Valley.
I was telling you guys that about the comedy series thing at the Critics' Choice, but what do I know? I only got it right, and I got more percentage than all of you guys. But
hey,
but,
I was championing with you. I was championing Silicon Valley with you. I just didn't.
Don't listen to me. I'll just sit here in the dark, going blind. It's okay.
Veep should be nowhere near the top 2. It should be nowhere near the top 7. But
no. Veep's hilarious.
Veep is not.
No. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. This season is horrible.
It's great.
No, it's not. There's been nothing that they've done that has been funny.
Oh God, everything's been funny.
You can't even name one.
Everything regarding Jonah and Hugh Laurie has been great this year. And also, Amy unwinding finally as a lobbyist has been hilarious.
Yeah, Anna Klumsky is definitely the MVP of the season, but that's
no doubt about that.
That's only because she's had a lot to work with because nobody else has done anything on the show.
Oh, pish posh.
All right, we are running long, so I'm just gonna end it now, but we're gonna do more Emmy discussion later on, more TCA discussions. So keep coming back to Gold Derby. Thanks for watching.